The floor, my friend.
Well, thank you so much, George, for the opportunity to let me speak tonight. Like I said, please let me know if there's any echo, any sound issues. Can you hear me clearly so far?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you clearly. So please pronounce your last name again so that everybody can. And we want you to give certainly, and we will too. The name of your business. And I'm gonna start out with the very first question. Introduce yourself. Give us a little background on yourself, and then Lexer and I'll start in with some questions that we have for you. Is that okay?
Absolutely. So, my name, as you can see on the screen, is Jan Kratochwil. I guess you can tell right off the bat that that's not an American name. And on that note, I apologize in advance for my Eastern European accent. I'm originally from Czech Republic. Came to the United States in 2008. It's been a while ago, and I met George through his business partner Al, who got in touch with me, and that was what was it, George? 10 years ago? 12?
Uh,
I
uh,
can't even.
Well, I'd have to say it was probably 2010, 2010, yeah, and 2000, I think 2011.
2011, right at the beginning of Kettle Pizza, basically, and it was, I produced their first. It was a 15-second, very short video, sort of a promo, like an ad style video for their first attachment, Kettle Pizza, and I was basically working with them since then, and it was wonderful watching Kettle Pizza grow, and at the same time grow alongside them. And since the very first time Al reached out to me, we stayed in touch, through work or through what we do now, just conversing. And so I'm again thankful for the opportunity to speak to you. And over to George, if you have any additional questions, anything I may have left out, anything that you would like to know or people to know.
I'm gonna get right into it, Jan. What got you into being photographer? As I want to update people that early on, Al and I needed product photos of Kettle Pizza to send to QVC, HSN, post on our people that wanted pictures to put in magazines. What got you into the business, Jan, to start out with? How did you get set on this path?
Good question, George. So I must say, it happened very organically. I have always been inclined to just sort of capturing memories, whether with a family or friends. Early in life, it was just spontaneous, without proper equipment, without the level of professionality that's needed, that I have now. But that was the very beginning. When I came here to the U.S., I went to school for visual communications. That just kind of further enhanced my interest in photography and video production. And once I left college, I started slowly investing into equipment. I got a couple of clients. I was very lucky. Basically, right after college, I was working for an advertising management agency in Andover, Massachusetts. That was a job which entailed creating 15 to 30-second TV commercials, not videos per se, but more like motion graphics type of fast ads. From there, I got into filming and photography, and I was always lucky. I had the right people around that just supported me, gave me nice feedback that kind of drove me further into basically bettering my skills, and that basically progressed into what we do today. I am a creative head and owner of Custom Video Productions. We are a video production company based out in North Andover, and what we do is, our primary bulk of client is real estate companies. We do a lot of videos for med spas, interestingly enough. But we go beyond that. Through George, I've produced a few videos for local inventors as well. So, like I said, the primary bulk of clients would be real estate, but long story short, we do it all.
Jan, um, when as the topic that we picked for tonight was telling your story in a video and how important that is, and a lot of our guests tonight are sole proprietors, um, kind of low budget, but they need high quality work. And I know when we found each other, for us, it was the same. It was the same thing. You provided, exceptional quality work with a budget that we could work with. So I want to address that. Some of the clients that I know that you've had since Kettle Pizza range from, like you said, real estate companies. Would you be taking videos or pictures of properties that they have available in one setting, right? And uh, how is that kind of changed where you can tell a story by what you do, working with that person? I know when you and I have worked before with other creators, sometimes, and I'd like you to address this too, is it's difficult for an inventor, even though they know their product very well, to present it so that that video is an extension of them sometimes when it's getting sent to somebody or sent to a company for that. So how do you get them comfortable? How do you get them in the right way to do it with their product? Let's say, um, we always use Kettle Pizza for an example, but I know at Lexa with her cargo caddy, I know you viewed that this evening to give us some feedback on that. How do you make it easy for them to tell their story?
So let me be honest here, George. Again, good question. People are different. I would say there are two kinds of people. People like you and Al who've always knew what their target audience is, and who you're trying to reach and what you're trying to achieve, and that makes our job a little easier because we don't need to go through all the questions. Okay, so what is it that you're seeking to achieve with this product? Where is it ultimately going? Which are the questions that we're asking people that have the product, they're ready to take the next step, produce a nice video for them. They're just not sure whom to target, what the messaging should be. So I guess the number one, the most important question is who's the target audience? Who are we pitching to? What is this? What are we seeking to achieve with the video? So those are these type of questions. That's probably how we start the conversation with any client, and then we take it from there. They give us, some of them don't know right away. They need to think about this. Some of them we need to help through additional questions. Once it is established, what let's say, let's talk about inventors for a second, because you and Lex are inventors, so I think it's appropriate. A lot of the inventors, they have a product. They have an incredible thing they just came up with, and they're trying to get a patent. So you know that would be one type of video. Some of them are going to a trade show. They just need a sizzle. They put on a screen behind them. The screen that is right behind or right next to the table. That'll be another type of video. So like I said, it's always number one. Most important thing is to know who your target audience is, and then to that, we confirm the style of the video, the length of the video, etc.
Yeah, and one of the things that we found helpful with working with you in telling the Kettle Pizza story is that oftentimes after you took um, still still photos of our product and prepared them in the correct manner, so when we were sending them to a magazine, and you did a lot of those for us, magazines, newspapers that wanted pictures of the Kettle Pizza, and you could send them to them in a package. You knew how to send them a certain way. Um, I know many times we would just put you in touch with someone, and they would tell you, we need it in this format. We're looking for this kind of picture. We're looking for this kind of video. I want to let everybody know that the more information, like you said, that they can give you about where they're going to use these, that's the key. And I remember the one of the first ones, John, that you did for us was the one where we had kettle pizza, and it showed a kettle pizza and the difference between buying a kettle pizza and an oven. That was one of the first ones that we that and doing the voiceover for was a good one. The thing that I think some of our audience is that I found the still photography to be some of the best ones, even though that we're talking about having videos. It's very important. Don't you think it's very important to that you have some of those pictures done from somebody, because there is going to be a time when somebody says, "Hey," because a lot of our, thankfully for Kettle Pizza, was people wanted to write a story about us in a magazine,
Hmm.
and they wanted quality um, quality pictures to put in a glossy magazine.
Hmm.
And you can't just send a picture that you did on your phone, right? It's
Well, that's a good point. I mean, you technically could, right? And a lot of people say, well, why can't I just take a picture with my iPhone and one and done, boom, easy. Why should I pay someone hundreds of dollars to come in with the with the equipment and take high-end pictures? And I think my answer to that always is the quality of your presentation speaks to how serious you are about your product. You can always take a picture with an iPhone and send it to whomever, but when you have a high quality, whether it's photo or video, it shows that you're passionate, you're proud about the product, and you're very serious about taking that next step. So that is obviously very important. Self presentation through which then you are putting yourself in a better position to potentially succeed.
I have a question, Jan,
Hmm.
because I've done like 3 iterations of my product video. The first one was sort of a demonstration. This is how this works. The first one was a self sort of shot video for funding. The second one was the demonstration. The third one was more of this sizzle, as you call it,
Hmm.
uh, advertisement. Um, how do you help? And I think George asked this earlier, but I'm not sure I'm clear on your process. Like, how do you, when an inventor comes to you, an independent inventor comes to you, understands his or her target market, understands the product, understands what the pain point is for the customer, understands how the product solves that pain. How do you then translate that into really a story, as we say here, not
Hmm.
just a this is the product, instead of saying this is what this product is. I've seen all of your videos. You speak to the audience. It's like the audience is first, the product is secondary.
Hmm.
Can you
Hmm.
take us through your process? How do you do that?
Absolutely. So there definitely more than just one way to creatively grasp this. I would say one powerful way to kind of showcase a product or tell a story is through a contrast and comparison. Comparing basically comparing a scenario where there's a solution to a problem that was used before the invention, before the product was invented,
Mm,
and then comparing that to the actual product and showing, in a visually stimulating way, how far better the product is than what preceded the product in the invention itself. That's one way. Another powerful way to just kind of convey some of that, just do a little bit of a storytelling is I always ask, it doesn't need to be an inventor. It could be a business owner. What was your inspiration behind what you just came up with, behind your invention? A lot of there, there are a lot of good stories behind that also. So It's always worth digging deep and just basically have the people first just kind of hear it from the people. And then, okay, once you know the story, once you know the person's inspiration behind the product, then you try to visually convey it. And that's, that's what makes a video interesting and not just interesting, but, visually stimulating and also engaging.
So you'll interview the independent inventor as part of the product video that you
That's one of
produce.
our ways to, yes. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see video of the LOL inventor, which was the Scirocco collection. That would be an
Yeah,
example
yeah.
of a
Yes.
video where we actually interviewed Jean, and she came up with some nice things to say. And then when we put it together in a post with some, when we visually back it up, that's when it all come together. That's when you get that nice, not just a high-end video, but a little bit of a story in there as well.
Right, so you're personalizing the video, and a sort of a logical follow-on to this is most of us we don't have limitless budgets. We're trying to put, everything in its place and go through the various steps to commercializing our products. So what can we do when we come to you as independent inventors? What kind of ducks do we have to get in a row to make your job simpler, which then translates to probably less hours and less cost passed on to us?
So before we even hit the ground running, before I press record, before we do any of that, the pre-production stage is extremely important. I usually send not just inventors, but any client a set of questions,
Okay.
just to sort of assess where they are at and what would be the best creative approach, because not everybody has a good story. Everybody's different, everybody's unique case. So I have, I ask certain questions just to find out, just kind of to get some pointers from the person, what would be the best way to go about it creatively. And once I have those questions answered, that helps me to just kind of brainstorm, okay, this might be a good approach, this is probably not going to work. And it just kind of narrows it down for me. And that way I can just come up with a creative approach that works best for that particular case.
Do you ask for samples that the client likes? Like, give me 4 or 5 different product videos that you like, and you use that as sort of a baseline?
Absolutely, and the 99% of the cases, people do it themselves. I don't even have to ask. People usually just right off the bat, they give me what they have. This is a picture, of my product. This is a video I shot on my cell phone, and I'm glad you actually asked that. That's a really good way to start as well. That gives me a good understanding of what the product is and how we go about creating that. Taking that step further and creating a higher end video for them.
Okay.
Jan, thank you, Lex. That was great. Jan, one of the things I want to bring up to let everybody know, and some people who are local will know of Chronicle, Channel 5 in Boston. Chronicle, I think, celebrated last year their 40th anniversary on Channel 5. And we sent videos to Chronicle. They were doing a segment on Yankee ingenuity. And the executive producer of Chronicle, who has been around quite a long time, when we sent him the videos that Jan had did from some of the group from Invent New England, he first said, yeah, okay, send me the videos. We'll see if they're any good. The whole segment was on highlighting creators, Yankee ingenuity, when he contacted me. And I have to tell you, Jan, and if I didn't tell you before, I'll tell you in front of everybody. The gentleman who was in charge of doing Chronicle, an executive producer, said that they were the best quality videos that he had seen. He didn't think that they were going to be that good, that they could be used right out of the chute with anything that he had to do. Quite a testament from somebody who's doing such a long running show, Jan.
Well,
and that was, and I wanted to mention that because, as you had said before, and others, you might only have one shot to send somebody something. You want it to look good. Um, and it was very helpful to us that you were able to understand what somebody needed, a package of things, and send it to somebody, because that might be the only way that somebody gets to see their product. They might not be able to get to a trade show. They might not be able to go in person somewhere. So that video is key to it. And I just wanted to speak so that everybody know the quality work that you do and how critically important that is. Um,
Well, I'm glad to hear that, George. On that note, just a quick note. I think I was extremely lucky because any video, any product you see from me is not just a result of my work, but it's always a teamwork. And I've been extremely lucky to, whether it was Gene or Paul, to work with people that were extremely cooperative and, with good personalities. And they were able to, because some people buckle, they might be nice,
yep.
bubbly personalities. As soon as you stick a camera in front of their face, they just, they buckle. They're not able to perform. That wasn't the case with Paul. That wasn't the case with Gene. Their personalities, I think, showed in the video. And so part of it is also luck, not just a skill, but good teamwork and also great work from on their part.
Yeah, are
If
those
somebody,
videos on your portfolio? Some people are asking just for a couple of examples of product videos. Are they?
Absolutely. I
Okay,
think at the end of this discussion, I can throw it either in the chat or I can. My website is actually to the side of me. So if you go to our sample section of our website, you're gonna see those videos there.
okay. Shirley, I hope that answered your question there. So when another question I had was, a lot of times, especially in the COVID era, because we haven't been able to go to trade shows as readily, I'm working on a couple of other products in addition to Cargo Caddy. I have a prototype, but it's maybe not like a retail ready prototype. It's a kind of a crude prototype. Is there anything you can do from a video effects standpoint to sort of enhance the look and feel of a product so that the end user can, not to trick the end user, but to really just communicate what the product's meant to do, even though the prototype is kind of crude and isn't as polished as it should be? But can you?
So what are you saying is basically us getting ahead a little bit and just showing a finished product despite the fact the product is not ready yet?
Yeah, well, here's an example. So with my product, Cargo Caddy, if I do another iteration of it, another prototype, the shelf and if for anyone who doesn't know who's on the call, it's a stowable trunk shelf for SUVs. And right now it sits at one height and then it stows when not in use. Well, different SUVs have different size trunks and different back seats. So you can see in George's picture there. The next iteration will allow the height of the shelf to go up and down like that. So for the video I did that I've been sending out to prospective licensees, the videographer I worked with here locally in Maryland helped me just sort of do some sort of simulated kind of animation to make it move up and down, even though the product behind George, that prototype doesn't actually do that. Long-winded sort of explanation, but what kinds of tools and techniques do you have at your disposal to help with that sort of thing?
Yes, so you mentioned animation, and that could go two ways, and I was gonna get to that. So there are two ways how to convey that next iteration, and that'll be either number one through motion graphics, using your existing product, and either through some arrows or some sort of an explanatory graphics that would kind of just move certain direction within the car or within the scene within which it's supposed to live. Kind of demonstrate the intention, number one, and number two, but those price points were really high. There's something called 3D rendering. What they do is, as long as you're able to convey to us what exactly the next iteration is gonna look like, we would then create basically in either Cinema 4D or a similar editing platform, a 3D simulation of it.
Cool.
But that's something, that's something, I have to say that those would be, those price points are a lot higher than a regular conventional video or use of motion graphics.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and when you, I want to take a step back to when you were talking about how some people are able to, seize the moment about their product. They might be able to talk about it like we are now, like, you know, falling out of bed. But when lights come on, it happens. It happens to everybody. Um, can you supply someone to voice over somebody's video if they can't? You could get, the information from them, background. Maybe you form their own script so you can have somebody that is used to pitching a product or at least voicing over something.
Hmm.
Can you do that?
Absolutely. So, that's that would be a scenario where, like, after I've tried my best to convince the person to show in the video themselves, if there's no way of convincing them, then that next step happens in two stages, and that is we have a creative writer that comes up with a script based on some points that we receive from an inventor or whoever the client might be. We take their talking points and then turn it into a script. We run the script by the inventor or a client. Once the script is finalized and approved, then we have a list of voiceover artists, males, females, different accents. Um, so we submit the script to the voiceover artist, and we produced a voiceover that goes with the video. But as I mentioned before, for me, that is, or it's just that's something that makes a video a little less authentic, and it's the last resort. I would much rather have someone, even if that person is scared to death being on a camera but still willing to do it, what I always tell them, listen, it's not gonna be just 3, 2, 1, take one, go.
Mm.
Let's make it conversational. I'm just gonna have the camera next to me. Let's roll, and I'm gonna be asking you questions. Let's have a conversation. And I think, George, that's something you do, and I witnessed that myself personally. That shoot we had with Paul, you were the one that actually drove it, that facilitated that. And I think what you did there was incredible because Paul, wonderful guy, bubbly personality, had a little problem, just kind of formulating some of his ideas in front of the camera. But you were able to have a conversation with him, and through that, it was all obviously recorded. And without him even knowing, he was surprised himself after, when he saw the video. He was like, Jesus, like I thought this was gonna be a disaster. I was nervous. I, didn't know how to formulate certain things. But thanks to the fact that you were able to have a conversation with him, it was like 45 minutes worth of video content, and we boiled down to maybe about a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's in
But
about 2 minutes.
yeah, so it also, a lot of it is not just connected to camera skills or video skills, but it comes down to just people skills, being able to make someone comfortable, make someone talk despite the fact that they're not, they were initially not comfortable talking.
Yeah, I told Paul that, Jan, that you, the master of the editing, that we edit out all the bad stuff anyway. We made everybody look good. And that one, people don't know. Paul Vieira, a local person here in Massachusetts, developed a product called the Power Wheelbarrow, and Jan was able to go on site with him to a yard. The Power Wheelbarrow fits on a ride or a walk behind mower. It's a wheelbarrow in the front, and you were able to do on site work with him to feed into what he was talking about at the same time. And that's very important too, to be in the field seeing a product work.
Yeah.
I think, isn't that, in your experience, John, do you think that creates a much more powerful, um, instead of just in, because you did a lot of work inside Kettle Pizza, but you did some work. I wish we had that video you did when you first got your drone,
Hmm. Hmm.
when we did a part of Al's house with the drone, and you did that video for us there. That was a remarkable one that we got a lot of great reviews of. But
I'd like to show the Power Wheelbarrow video, and we could do that right now because I think it would give the audience an understanding of Jan's approach. Jan, where is that link? Is it on your Vimeo account?
Yes. Do you have my? Let me see if I can just quickly get there and share my screen.
Yeah, I'll let you share your screen and show the audience, so we're not just speaking in,
Absolutely.
we're not making this stuff up, right, Lex? We're not.
right?
And yeah, George, just like you mentioned, that sort of um, almost like a day in life approach where you go with the person in the field and just kind of film them in their natural element. That is definitely a very powerful way of conveying what that person or their invention is about. All right,
I know
so
with doing things with Kettle Pizza, Jan, and then seeing with other people that you've worked with, that when you're outdoors and you're using your product, you get into a much better flow. And I've seen you capture that. It's a much better flow because now they're in their element. They're in their element. They're not in front of a camera. They're outside. They're saying, okay, this is how it works. We did a lot of videos, of cooking pizza. You know, so while you're pulling that up, I'll mention that.
can you see my screen right now? Is it showing
Not
or
yet.
not yet?
I think I have to hook on to. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, he's able to. Okay. All right, let's expand that screen and let
Absolutely.
everybody see it.
Just a second here. Is it showing in full now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, let me know if you can hear it also. So this is Paul Vieira, the inventor of Power Wheelbarrow, based in Methuen, Massachusetts. So this is it. There we go.
we can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it? Okay, just give me a second. Okay, just a second here.
Probably have to take your headphones out.
I'm gonna call my assistant here real quick.
Just so everyone knows, Paul was awarded his patent for the Power Wheelbarrow in December of 2020.
Okay, can we hear it now? Just a second, it's loading. It's a hotel Wi-Fi here, so it's not very fast. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
The inspiration behind my invention was the cost of moving product in job sites by human force and the liability of safety and injuries to the employees and people moving product by wheelbarrows. The Power Wheelbarrow made life a lot easier for my staff because it became a lot safer, convenient, and very efficient. While one of my guys is pushing one wheelbarrow at a time, I can move 3 wheelbarrows at the same time by a powered machine. I made the design of the Power Wheelbarrow really simple. There's not much to it, and it attaches to any tractor, whether it's commercial, residential, walk behind, stand on, by simply a couple bolts. It takes one person 2 minutes. The Power Wheelbarrow consists of a steel frame with 2 casting wheels mounted to the front, and then just a plastic trailer tub on top. The front casting wheels, they do spin freely 360 degrees. On the design of the unloading of the product from sand, loom, rock, stone, sprinklers, sod, you name it, any product, I came up with a pivoting point. By the releasing of one lever, the product automatically dumps itself without any human effort. The power wheelbarrow becomes really easy to move it in tight areas, around pool areas, diving boards, because it's controlled by your power unit, your lawnmower. It's not mounted like the regular trailer, it's a front mount. So it doesn't have the jackknifing, doesn't have the danger of tipping, backing up. You're not looking backwards to see where you're maneuvering. Everything's in front of you, and it works as one unit. It doesn't fold in the middle. I have a utility patent that was awarded to me December of 2020. My intent in the long run is to license the power wheelbarrow. I'm looking for a strategic partner to commercialize this in a large scale. And my intent is not in any way to bring it to the market myself, do any manufacturing. I'm looking for the right partner.
So, Jan, can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent.
Thank you for that. And I just let everybody know to view that yourselves, because Jan, like I said, in California and on his laptop, to get the full effect of that was really remarkable that Paul and Jan spent some time outside, as you can see, to put it together. One of the things, too, is that a little different video is that one that tells another story. I don't know how many people have seen Lex's video, and we're going to put up a couple of more from some creators that we have to see the different types. Lexa created her video with the help of a professional. And Lexa, can you tee that up on?
Yeah. So why don't you stop sharing your screen, Jan, and I'll share mine. But I will say that I spoke with Jan before doing this video, so he had some input into my product video, and it's just this will give you a flavor for how this is just a slightly different approach. This is more of a commercial rather than a kind of a interview / product demo like you saw with Paul.
Right.
So another approach, you know, you could take with Jan or whoever your videographer is something akin to
Very nice. Very nice. I'm kind of glad we played those two videos back to back because what it does is it shows two different approaches, I would say equally powerful. And so it just gives you an example of how, you know, how a video could be approached in different ways, depending on the product, depending how you want to come across.
right.
Yeah, Jan, just a reminder, hold your microphone a little bit closer.
Thank you, George.
Yep, no problem. One of the other things too, for the group on doing a video, you saw the two different types, and you see one was direct to the inventor, and Lexus did hers, as she said, informational, product pitch itself, and it can be done also with, as I want to stress to people, They don't have to be afraid of doing a video because they can have somebody do a voiceover for it, which is, and they get to participate in that, right, Jan, to be involved with that, because as we're purpose of this, a majority of what we learn is through sight, through video, through watching something, and it's very powerful that way. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows, if you can't do it yourself, find a friend, or reach out to professional, if it's Jan or someone else, to have them help you with getting someone that can really talk about your product, so you don't miss the opportunity of getting your product. Because I can tell you from missing many myself early on, when somebody says, can you send us some information? If you have a video, that would be great. And when you have to say, I can send you some information, but my video is not very good, that's not a very good way to start a potential. Could be a licensee, could be somebody looking to buy your product and put it on store shelf somewhere.
Yep.
Fact,
Joe has given me a link to another product. Joe, I don't know, Joe, you're probably muted, but I'm going to cue this up. He says this is a third approach. I'd love to see some of our members' videos. So I'm going to put that up as another example.
This is Cargo Caddy, a
That's
stowable trunk.
sorry. So that's my other video. No, firm tree case.
And to all our fellow inventors and would-be inventors, there's always promote your product, no matter where it is.
Okay, this one here is one that was done for me that is an animated video. If you go to the home tab,
This one?
yep, this is the one that I made.
Okay.
So this is your product, your invention.
Hi,
Correct.
my name is Joe Russo, and I'm the inventor of the Firm Tree Standing Guitar Case, a revolutionary new case that not only offers superior protection for your valued instrument, but also one that can do what no other guitar case can. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Like many, I'm a guitarist, and I love it. But one thing I don't love is the hassle I have to go through every time I want to take my guitar out to play. It's always the same old routine. First, I have to find a flat surface like a table, or more likely the floor, to lay my guitar down. Then I have to bend over, need the clasps, to take my guitar out, only to realize I forgot to set up my guitar stand. Well, here it is over here. And I'll go and I'll set that up. Place the stand down, and grab my guitar to put on the stand. Again, bending. Now I'll go and I'll put the guitar on, go back to my guitar case and take out all my tools, like my tuner, my picks, and my capo, and place them over with the guitar. Next, I have to go back to the case, again bending over, to redo the process. Then putting my case off to the side while I play my show. Hopefully I have a good one. Then at the end, when it's time to pack up, I have to reverse this whole process. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but it doesn't have to be that way. Introducing the Firm Tree Standing Guitar Case. As you can see, the Firm Tree case looks and carries like any of the other conventional cases, only it's so much easier to use. How easy, you ask? Well, it's as easy as 1, placing the case on its end, 2, deploying the patented locking stand, and 3, opening up the doors. As you can see, the Firm Tree Standing Guitar Case is its own guitar stand, and it also allows easy access to all your tools, like sheet music, picks, capos, and other items. Notice how the doors fall flush against the side. allowing the case to take up as little space as a standard guitar stand. And when it comes to breaking down, what could be easier than simply closing the doors, contracting the stand, and being on your way? It's as easy as that. Let me show you that again. It goes from hand carry to setup in under 10 seconds. The Firm Tree standing guitar case, the only guitar case delivered.
That's it.
Nice, nice, very nice.
Joe, if you can hear me, I was hoping that you'd belt out a little tune on the guitar when you had it out there. So maybe for the next video, Joe, you could play a little song to go along with that when you pop the guitar out of that.
That's
So,
a
Thanks
good
for sharing
idea.
that, Joe.
well
Thank you.
done. Well done. Thank you for that. Jan, we, and I'm sure Alexa has more questions. The videos, certainly the power of the videos. You know, March of 2020 changed everything for the world, right? The pandemic came. Meeting in person, pitching in person, going to trade shows, going to individual pitches at companies, if somebody had the opportunity, everything changed. The world we live in right now is what we're looking at with Zoom. How has your business, and I know you travel the world basically. I think a month ago I talked to you, you were in Guatemala, I think, and then down the islands. So how have you kept up with being able to provide your incredible services, which people now who are, it's hard to meet with them. It's hard to do that. What have you been able to do?
Right, good question. So, like you said, the 2020, the beginning of, changed a lot of things. Luckily, at that point, we're at a stage where we had a lot of, we had an overhaul of projects, a lot of the editing that we kept putting off. So, number one, it gave us an opportunity to catch up on all our projects that we were procrastinating. So in a way, that was very convenient for us. Number two is, a lot of the places here shut down. Not the whole world though. There are a lot of places in the world that just whether they had lenient restrictions or no restrictions at all. Uh, Despite the pandemic, there's a lot of people that are still willing to work, collaborate, make videos, and I guess in a way we're lucky to just be in touch with those people. We never really stopped producing. Yes, it was on a lesser scale. Yes, the traveling was not as frequent, as before and as it is now. But a long story short, we never really stopped. A lot of the filming that we would do on site, I guess, speaking of adjustments, would be just done whether an animation or whether the client would send us a video that we would then incorporate, just kind of lay over graphics, just gonna do it that way versus filming on site. Yes, there were those adjustments as well, but we did slow down, but never really stopped doing what we were doing.
Going forward, Jan, as things loosen up, certainly as they started to and have been, trade shows are opening back up. I wanted to mention our friend Rita Crompton. In April 5th, 6th, and 7th this year, the National Hardware Show is going to occur again. And I think probably next year we'll get back on the regular schedule in March. But this year, April 5th, 6th, and 7th. If anybody's interested, contact Rita Crompton about attending the National Hardware Show. Jan, videos that, now I won't hold you to this and say Kettle Pizza has been some of your favorite videos. I won't put you on the spot there.
I would definitely say that though, because they're one of my first creations. That those were the initial stages, and that's how I'm always gonna remember it, and that's something that will never leave. So that's what makes it special.
Well, I thank you for that. But for our audience, for our creators out there, and we have a couple more. We have Jerry from the Metro Detroit um, uh, Inventors Club out there that has some very cool products. And I saw in his chat he mentioned about particular videos just for social media. So you know that if you're crafting a video, that you have to really want to make it so it goes across every platform if it can, right?
Correct.
Because there's different formats for different platforms.
Either, so there are two ways we approach it. A lot of the videos we adjust to fit, let's say, whether it's Instagram or Facebook in the post production, meaning we would film it in the format we normally do. But then, when the client approaches and say, "Hey, so I need this optimized for Instagram," then all that conversion happens in the post production. Some of the videos now, especially for the real estate clients, some of the listing videos, they only want it for social media. It's only for Instagram. In that case, we can film it in that format right off the bat, and we have less work in post production. So long story short, it all depends. That's a part of the pre-production conversation with the client. Where is the video ultimately gonna live? How are you gonna integrate it into your marketing efforts? And then we adjust, we conform our either filming or editing style accordingly.
I would think that quite a few of our guests here too. Um, is that important to know going in? We know when you said you do pre-production. Is that something that you want to find out right from the get-go where the majority of that's going to go? Because that dictates how you're going to do it, right?
You don't necessarily have to, but it helps us, it saves us some work, and it saves the client potentially some money as well, because if they know that video is only going to live on Instagram and they let us know right away, we don't need to, it means less work for us in the post-production. We shoot it in that format, that's it, boom, done. Versus, having the client telling us afterwards, yes, it is still possible. We can conform the video to the Instagram metrics or Facebook, what have you, but that means additional work in post. That means, the video is going to cost you a little more. So we could do it both ways, but it's in the client's best interest to let us know, in the pre-production stage, what the ultimate plan with the video is.
On your website, Jan, what you just told me, is that on there? So if somebody from a group, now our videos, our Zoom now, are hopefully seen by other groups around the country. So is that information what you just said, the pre-production, is it there somewhere on your website? So you say, this is what we look for. Get this prepared, so we can help you from this. Do you have a current video that you want to see that you want to change? Um, is that something that you can help them with right from the beginning?
A shorter condensed version of it is on our website, not to the extent I just said here, but yes, it is on our website.
Okay, that's great. Lexa, I know we had I don't know if we had another video. Jerry, our friend out in Detroit, I didn't know if we could get a video about his product on there or not.
I just need a link to it.
Jerry, if you can hear us, if you want to throw it in the chat box, that would be great.
And then we can also get to anybody's questions. If anybody has questions they have for Jan, technical or otherwise, please feel free to ask away.
I will be glad to share one, but it's on my computer. It's not on Vimeo or YouTube.
That's
So
fine,
I
as long
would
as you're able to share your screen with us. It should
I
be
would
fine.
have to share a screen. Can I have access to that?
Sure, just
Let me first find it.
okay.
Okay, I've got it. Now, this is what? Okay, I gotta move things around so I can find it if I can figure out how to do that. There, this is one. And I think we got the volume turned off. Let me,
It was not properly protected from external environmental conditions, oxygen, air pollution, high humidity, and excessive ultraviolet light damaged whatever was placed in the picture frame many years ago. The Monoxy microclimate picture frame, microclimate enclosure with 99% UV filtering glass will protect your precious
Jerry, if you
memento.
can hear us, I can't, if anybody else can see it, I can't see your
We see the
video. I can
folder
hear
with
it.
the files in it, but we don't see the video open.
I got it on my screen. It says you are screen sharing.
Is it the final vignette 1_8 2020?
Probably, yeah.
So if you can double click on it, see if it.
Water stains, dark dots on the paper, and dead bugs
Do you
in that
hear it
old
yet?
framed document from grandma.
We hear it, but we don't see the video itself.
No environmental conditions, oxygen, air pollution, high humidity, and excessive ultra.
Okay, well, here's the file.
Why are there water stains, dark dots on the
Oh,
paper?
Jerome, any chance you have two screens? Because that happens when you have two different screens. If you can drag it over maybe.
Environmental conditions, oxygen, air pollution, high humidity, and excessive ultraviolet light
Oops,
damaged
lost.
whatever was placed in the picture frame many years ago. The
Jerry,
Monoxy
why don't we do this?
microclimate enclosure with 99%
I can send, we can
UV
send a
filtering
file
will
later.
protect you
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
for many years to come without damage. The affordable Monoxy microclimate enclosure.
So just stop the sharing, Jerry, and we can do
What
it.
to do once I figure out where I'm at. I guess it's here.
Got it.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Okay, all right.
I would love
So,
to check it out later if you can send it. That would be great.
yeah, make sure you put your email address in the chat.
It's
That
right,
is
it's right
your
next to me on the
address.
screen.
Okay, excellent.
I'll go mute.
Okay. Let's get to anyone's questions. If anybody has,
Why don't we bring everybody back onto the screen, Lex?
yep. And everyone can unmute too.
Everybody's clicking back on.
Mhm.
Jan, I think it's a very good sign. We didn't catch anybody napping or anything like that, so that's a very good sign. That's
It's good to see everyone's faces as well.
it would have
Nice
been
meeting
the
you all.
first time that I was talking and people fell asleep, so that's a good thing. So I want to, I know we had quite a few questions. I hope we covered them, but I want to take an opportunity before we close up for the evening. If anybody has any other questions, write direct now to Jan. Now's the time. We wanted to make sure that his very cool background there with his business card was on the background. As all of you know, that we talk quite a bit on opportunities to be ready to show your product anytime that it comes up. The Zoom background is a wonderful billboard. Anytime you're on a call with anybody, if you've got a product, get it in the background so people can ask you about it. You always see myself or anybody else, put your product back there. It's free advertisement. You don't know who's going to see your product or your business. So use this Zoom anytime that you can to pitch. Remember, the whole world is out there now, and as Jan has told us in his work, where he travels quite a bit, is that it's about a business and it's a video. And the purpose of tonight's was to kind of, we sometimes talk to attorneys and PR people, but I still think that give me a good video in a minute and a half to tell a story about a product, and that's going to get you in a lot of doors because it shows.
Speaking of business and a video, George, if I can
Yep,
just expand on
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Every good marketer, like whether you market yourself or have people do it for you, there are two key steps in those efforts, and that is attraction and conversion. And video does a really good job of in terms of attracting people to whatever it is, a product, a service. There's, let's say you have a website, and there's paragraphs and paragraphs of plain text explaining what the product is about. People get tired, people fall asleep halfway through reading a long text. If you compare it to a video, a short 15-30 second video that is visually stimulating, what's beautiful about video is that you're able to convey a story within a very short time, and it is proven that our brain is also able to process video a lot faster than a text. So those are just one of the few perks of having a video versus not having one.
Absolutely.
Lexa, going forward, everyone, if you need to get in touch with Jan, he's very accessible. If you have questions, I know he'd be, very willing to help you with any questions that you have. Even if you're going to not use his services, and this is why Jan and I have still been working together. It'll be going on, 10 years in a little while working together. Because when I hear from somebody they want to do, I say get in touch with Jan. He's going to help you because time is money too. You don't want to go down. We talk about it all the time as independent inventors, going down that road that you end up 3/4 of the way down and you go, I never should have went down this road. Well, we try to provide with even our group and other groups around the country is we try to have the signs early on in the path of where this is going. And so it's very important that if you have questions about your video, your product, and how to max it, anything like that, get a professional. You don't file patents, at least I don't file patents without the right person doing it for you. If you need a plumber, you hire a plumber. So if you might only get one shot in that door to present yourself and your product. And as well as I do, sometimes companies want the whole package. They want to see the creator. Sometimes they just want the product. So you have to make sure that both are done as best you can. And if anybody has anything else in closing?
No, I think that's really, really helpful. Thank you, Jan.
Hi, Shirley. You have a question?
Yeah. Let's say, you wanted to hire someone to do your video and you're thinking, okay, what's the, a more cost-effective way? Do you just make the video shorter, or you make less, or do you, sort of have less post-production, or put it in a certain format and then, try to get your cousin, your teenage cousin to try to change it into the Instagram format for you later? What's like the best way to, to make it more cost effective?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. So I would say there are two major factors that are affecting the cost of any video, and that is number one, a complexity of production. So I would, in the pre-production stages, I would ask you, are we filming at one location? Is it gonna be 3 to 4 different locations? Is this gonna be an hour shoot, or is it gonna be 2-day shoot? That's number one. Are we using one camera? Do you need the product to be taken from multiple different angles at the same time? So that all goes with the complexity. And if you have a certain budget, there are ways we can adjust to maybe use less resources, try to get the filming done in a less time, and yet have it still effective. And the number two, I guess the second thing that factors into the cost of video would be the length of final deliverable. Is this going to be a 30-second Facebook, Instagram video, or is it a thorough, 30-minute video? That, if it's the latter, that means a lot more work for us in the post-production stage. There's, a bigger budget. But before we even get into, hiring, someone professional to produce a higher-end video for you, I would suggest to maximize your resources. If you want to have a nice video, but you're not quite ready to make that next step and hire someone, if you have a nice cell phone, ask yourself, am I following the basic lighting principles? Am I able to do a lot with little? Those kind of things. So what I'm saying is, if you guys have any questions regarding, certain things like, how do I get a best quality video using my iPhone, I'm able to help with that as well, because it's not just about, having an expensive video on site. It's about maximizing resources that you have currently available. I don't know if you have any additional question.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody good? Everybody safe? Okay. Jan, thank you very much. And thank you for the plug of Kettle Pizza being one of your favorite products. I want everybody to know I did not pay Jan to say that. It was solely on his own. But I appreciate that. And again, in closing, any opportunity you get to promote your product, promote it.
Yep.
Work on those backgrounds. Jan, I'm definitely going to call you because I want to steal that background of how you did your business card like that. That's great. We did one for Invent New England. But remember how many times that you're on Zoom now that you could be showing your product or your business. So promote it, and hopefully you'll promote it by using a video. And maybe one day it'll be a video or photography used by our friend Jan. So Jan, thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Lexa. And it was great meeting you, everyone.
Thank you, Jan. And
Thank you.
just so everyone knows, we're looking to maybe schedule a kind of a bonus meeting on the 28th. So look out. I'll be sending something out through Meetup and also through the newsletter. We definitely have March 7th. We have Kedma coming on to talk to us about funding and finding free sources of funding. So got a lot of cool things coming up in the next few weeks. So just be on the lookout for communications from us.
Okay, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.